Yo, baby pop. Hey, y'all, it's your favorite perky barista, Juanita Michelle, and this is the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast. I am so excited today. We have a special guest. Now, y'all know we've been dating heavy, right? Today, we have a special guest out of the CO, and we are so excited to have Mr. Corey Winborn with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes, how you doing?
I am excellent.
A little jet lag?
Not at all. Actually, this was great. I love getting on the road to come down here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So you guys, you all know that the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast was created not to celebrate brokenness, but to acknowledge it in order to bring about change. I'm discussing with other successful entrepreneurs their challenges and learn how they overcame. It is the overcomers that have the knowledge to share that can impact the small business owner who believes that they're all alone. Trust me, you're not alone. So, guys, again, this is Third Perk Coffee House and Wine Bar, and we are in the middle of our 18-month journey. We've been on this journey since about October of 2022, and we've seen some nice changes. So, I'm not going to give you guys all the deets on all the things that are going on, but those of you who come into the coffee house regularly have seen such a dramatic change. Okay, so that means you got to come in. Okay, come on in. And if you haven't done so yet, please make sure you are subscribing, commenting, and sharing the news about this really cool podcast. Okay, so Mr. Winborn,
Yes.
tell us what makes you an entrepreneur.
Well, I started my business, I'd say about 35 years ago.
Wow.
Ups and downs, but I've come into a great place. I've opened up Ohio and Columbus and abroad to getting into custom clothing. A lot of people remember that from your great-grandmothers and your great-grandfathers. Everybody wore custom, even the poorest of the poor. We're getting back to that in a time of fast fashion. It's really nice that people want to take time to get things that's specially made for their bodies.
I like it. So are you clothing men and women?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is your specialty? What is it that you do most?
Well, I'm very different when it comes to suiting. I see a lot of people that are starting to get into custom. They don't step outside of that. They don't step outside of their normal things. So they'll stick with very safe things like blues, grays. I get guys into different colors and women to dressing according to their shapes.
Okay.
These days it's a little weird on that end. Everybody just puts on what they want to put on, but there's a way to dress your body where it flatters your body.
So how do you evaluate that? Like when you have a customer who comes in,
Yes.
and they're like for instance, I have a gala that I want to go to, and I want to have something specially made for me. What do you do when you are working with that person? How do you put that together?
We do a consult. We go over all the concepts that they bring to the table. I'll give them the pros and cons of that, of that idea or concept. Those things will actually, a lot of people don't tell people the real about things that they need to hear to be better with how they dress themselves. I can't play that game. I have to be, I develop a really closeness to my actual clients. They're family to me. So I have to tell them what's real so that they can actually kill the game.
I mean, well, the other thing is that this is an investment. So
True.
it's not
It is.
like me going off to H&M and getting
True.
what is perceived as a fashionable item. It is something that I may have in my closet, and it may be a timeless piece.
True.
So
True.
it's important for us
True.
to get that together.
I agree. A lot of the fast fashion that we were talking about, the H&Ms, the Zaras, the fabrics are not the greatest, but the visuals are great. They have great styles. They will put you onto what's next. But if you get used to things that are not good, they don't last long. That's the thing about our grandparents and our great-grandparents' clothes. That stuff you'll still find in the thrifts to this day because it was put together well.
Absolutely.
You're not going to find no H&M up in the thrift shops in 20 years. It won't last that long. That's the truth.
It's like it's good for 4 washes. I'm sorry.
True.
I'm sorry. My comedic talent just shines. So, you are based out of Columbus.
Yes.
How did you grow your brand outside of the city of Columbus? How did that happen for you?
I have given this advice to 100 people. They have literally scheduled to come into my office and sit and talk with me. The way things worked for me, I literally worked out of my home for years, and my clientele built up. And so before I jumped into something I couldn't handle, I had built up my clientele right from home.
Okay.
Of course, at that time, my wife and I were having a child, and so people were coming to the house, and it was like, you're trying to breastfeed. That wasn't working out. So I stepped out on faith. I started my business at a beautiful spot that I'm at now to this day. And it really worked out because I was able to bring my clientele right to that office and not have to struggle building my clientele.
Okay.
I would suggest for anyone to start out slow, start out smart, and something you can control. A lot of times we can go into things, but you can lose those things very easily if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
So do it smart, I say.
And I heard you mention abroad, so you have customers outside of the U.S. territories?
Actually, outside of Ohio, I'm in a bunch of different states. I've got some people in Canada, and I've got some people in the DR. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So have you ever styled or have you ever wardrobed any celebrities? Have we seen any of your work on the red carpet?
I have, but I don't get into styling celebrities. I call my clients my celebrities.
Okay.
They are my stars. So I don't get into pro ball players. I've done pro ball players. I've done millionaires. But to me, my clients are my stars.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Well, I would look like a star if I had an outfit on,
There
right?
you go.
So, of course, I am a star.
My job is to create stars. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get my outfit, y'all. My piece says. But really, what really got you into the fashion business? How did that, was it something that was it artistry? Like what got you on this path to where we are today?
This is a great story. I'll make it quick. I started out a nerd in high school, and basically I put together a plan to get popular. So I started doing things differently with my clothing. I would change things. I started out working with things that were already there, changing things up, and I got well known in my school as a good dresser. And so by the time I was a senior, I was very popular because I could dress better than the average person. I grew up with a mom that took me to thrift shops, so I learned to find diamonds in the rough, needles in haystacks. And I thrift to this day. Even though I can make anything, it's a relaxing thing. I love going into the thrift. You're not gonna find your stuff out of the thrift out here in stores.
Right.
So I've always been an avid thrifter for that reason. I started out taking things apart that I would find from the thrift, and then by the time I was able to put them back together, I knew I had arrived.
Okay.
I started out doing men's things strictly for me. Then people were asking me about my things, and so I ended up doing other things for people. And then women came on board, and it blew up after that. So I've been in the game for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is neat. So your deconstruction and then you putting things back together, was that your training to sew?
No schooling. I've never been to anyone's school. It's been a blessing. It really has. I just don't remember a time when I couldn't do something. I would tell people trying to get into this game, it takes time. You can put together art projects all you want, but to do quality clothing, it takes years of practice and really, really focusing on getting everything where it needs to be. So this isn't an overnight game. If you want to get into this game, and I have a natural talent, I literally never made anything bad. Right from the start, I was able to do things that was impossible. The fact that I can make the things I can make to this day, it just blows my mind. It's strictly a God gift. So.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, I wish we would have convinced you to bring some of your pieces so that we could show on the podcast some of your examples of some of your fabulous
Can we
fashions.
use any of my pictures? We've got pictures.
We'll get
Okay.
pictures.
All
We'll
right.
definitely get those pictures. So, Dayton has its own designing icon.
Yeah.
My brother, Lamore Amir.
Yeah, my guy. We
He-
actually received an award together. A
Really?
few years ago. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I gotten a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he got one at the same time. It's when I met him, and we've been cool ever since. Like that was probably about 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So I'm going to tell a story about Lamore. He blackmailed me in Joanne Fabrics once, guys. Not long after we had met. So he and my ex-husband they grew up together and just wonderful friends. And I was on a shopping moratorium. I wasn't supposed to be spending money. And here I am at Joanne Fabrics with a cart full of scrapbooking stuff and just all the things that I wanted to do, right? So he's like, oh. I said, oh, don't tell Robert that you saw me, okay? And he's like, he took this Snicker and he put it on my cart. And I was like, are you blackmailing me with candy?
That sounds like him. Oh my God.
He is one of the most wonderful people that we have in the city, and his
awesome.
talent is global.
It's awesome.
He's
I mean,
global.
the things he comes from the heyday of fashion, the Ebony Fashion Fair era.
Absolutely.
He is phenomenal, and I mean, I reach out to him from time to time, and we'll hit each other up and say little stuff. He's just a really awesome guy. The kind of things he's done, he could have easily been snooty, but he's just not. He's so down to earth. He's such a great brother. He really is.
He truly is.
He really is.
He truly is. And he works in a pinch.
Yes, me too. Me
works
also.
in-
I'm fast.
And so a few years ago, there was a beautiful picture of SHE-Roe. She had on this lovely, like a canary yellow dress. And I said, Lamore, I really need this dress for this award show. And I tell you, he hit it. I mean, he hit it dead on. It was
Phenomenal. His tactics are phenomenal.
Yes. So, and I'm only saying that because I missed the days of the Ebony fashion show where we would have our African American designers, the originals, go from coast to coast and around the world showing their fashion.
High end, right?
High-end
not
fashion.
fast fashion. This was really creative stuff.
Right.
I miss those days, but they are coming back. They really are.
Okay.
There are so many young designers that are coming into the game, and I think that we're responsible in giving them good direction.
Okay.
Because a lot of people come in with these fantasy, television fantasy.
Yes.
And it's work. I call it, you have to make good chess moves. People will say,
Well, people think everything is easy, like Instagram,
True.
Facebook.
True.
All of these things make living or being a business owner or just becoming, they make it look instant.
The difference there's nothing wrong with Instagram and Facebook. It's free advertisement, but you can't get caught up in it, because it's not real. And you'll get so caught up in the likes that are not paying you that you end up thinking that that's life, and that's just not it. There's ways to make money from these things, but if you're just satisfied with likes, you can't pay the bills with likes.
Can't.
I mean, listen, I have a huge following, but I never get caught up, and I very rarely ever even post. My actual clients do the posting for me, which is great advertisement because that's not me promoting myself, it's them promoting me. What I was going to say earlier is that, you know, people will tell you, oh, geez, I just lost my train of thought. No, I got it. You'll hear people talk about working hard. It's actually about working smart. I know great-grandparents that have worked themselves to death and they didn't have anything to show for it. It's not about just working hard. You have to work smart and you have to make good moves. Good chess moves is what I call it. If you're gonna get in this game, you really have to appeal to your clientele. They are the ones that keep you in business. And if you come into your business like whatever, it's all about the money, people read that. They know that you just use them for the money. They want a service, provide it for them. Give them great service and they will come back every time.
Oh, wow.
It's the truth.
And I'm happy that you said that because, so we had a rough patch here in our coffee house. And I've had so many customers come back, and it's because of how I've made them feel.
Nice.
Nice.
Like family.
Yes. And it's the warmth of the space, and it's the music that is playing, and it is the, drinking a drink that's filled with love. I like to think that all the cups have a little love in them.
That's awesome.
And it makes you come back, and we were deemed the people's coffee house because we take care of the people. And it is the feeling that you give someone that makes them return.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not doing that you're doing it for both of you. When you actually give people love, it actually makes you feel love inside. I don't know how people, we'll talk about the BMV all the time, how you go in there and people are kind of mean. And I always come in with joy.
Right.
And whether they are like that or not, I'm not going to let anybody steal my joy. And if I can bring that to my client, they'll come back every time. They refer everybody to me. That means the world to me. So I will always go to the end of the earth for my clients.
Wow.
Always.
Wow. So you've shared a lot with us today, but one of the things I'm really interested in, because again, this is the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast, and I really noticed myself sitting in a space that I wasn't comfortable with. All of a sudden, my business wasn't performing and it wasn't taking care of itself. And then all of a sudden, I looked around and the space was not familiar to me any longer. And when I got to that point, there was something that I had to do to make it better, because in my spirit, I knew that the game wasn't over yet, right? And so I knew that I didn't exactly have permission to stop. I realized that this space was a ministry somewhere in 2017,
Nice.
that it was bigger than me.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I have something that really doesn't even belong to me. But although it belongs to the community, we still have to be good shepherds and do what's needed so that it's growing and that it's not a burden on me all either. So as we're doing that, I started looking strategically into how I could rebuild what was broken.
Wow.
So one of the things for me was just like examining, like using a SWOT analysis and looking at each component of that SWOT analysis and really decide which direction was best. One of the things that we decided was to abandon our wine bar status. So we were Third Perk Coffee House and Wine Bar from the beginning, and we've abandoned that. And one of the reasons was we were never really thought of as a bar. People weren't really just sliding through in the evenings to have that you know, that between spaces drink, you know, between work and home. We weren't ever that space.
Wow.
We were a space that we would have crowds, but it was event based. So if we weren't having an event, people didn't find themselves here in the evening. So one of the things for us, an opportunity, is ice cream, because downtown Dayton has no ice cream.
Wow.
My brother is probably tired of me saying that, but I said it again because it's true. So with downtown Dayton having zero ice cream, you know, we decided, okay, we're gonna let go of the alcohol. We're gonna introduce ice cream this weekend. And, you know, and we're gonna run with that. So where we didn't have the lines, we didn't have the crowds or the regularity, we're really hoping that us being the sweetest corner in downtown Dayton, it makes a difference.
Wow.
So tell us about a challenge you may have faced in your business, and tell us how you came over that.
Oh, now this might be a tearjerker, so just calm it down. When I really first started in my early 20s, a lot of people in my family and people that were around me didn't believe in me. And that almost got me to believe what they were saying. I literally had to later on really just know what God had told me. I knew that He had told me to do what I do for a living. So for me, it was more so just having the faith to know and walk out what He told me would happen. It's funny because this many years later, I'm semi-famous, and now all my family, oh my God, that's my cousin, that's my blah, blah.
We knew you were gonna.
I just knew you were. You know, you gotta really push through that. We get so caught up in what people think and what they see, and we don't understand. People can't see your vision. It was given to you.
Yes.
So
yes.
you of course they don't get it. They're not supposed to.
They don't have
for
to.
you. Like
right.
Moses got the vision, and many people didn't even catch it.
Right.
Until it came to fruition. So for me, those were the more difficult years, but I just believed you got to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. People think it takes money. They think it takes so much. It just takes faith.
Yeah.
If things just automatically happen with no problem, there's no need for faith. So the challenge is there so that you can develop faith.
Yes.
So if things aren't happening, that's good. That means it's going to take your faith to get it there. If everything fell in place, you wouldn't need faith.
Right.
So God showed me through all the difficulty I had in the beginning. He showed me, I'm going to make this happen. And it's so funny. You can't blame them. They just don't know any better. To see people's reaction when you make it is so funny before you make it. You know, it's just anybody could come into LeBron now. He's with the woman that was with him before it all happened.
I know.
That's how you do it.
And it's so awesome.
Yes, it is absolutely awesome. Anybody can come along once the Benz and the mansion is there. That's not the people that really have your back. The people that have your back believed in you even when nobody else could see it.
When it was a joke.
Yes. So let me say this. I have to say this. I'm so thankful to my wife. She came along when I had nothing, and she saw greatness in me. And ladies or gentlemen out there, you have to see greatness in people before it happens. That's when it's respected. Anybody can come on after we've gotten there.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
That's so easy.
That's the easy part.
See the greatness. Somebody's work habits will tell you exactly what they're doing. Long before this place blew, you already had the work ethic into it. So it was gonna have to, the seeds were gonna have to go.
Yeah. Sooner
or later.
Yes, yes. So, one thing that my sister gave me, and I'm so happy that she gave me this little nugget, she told me, this was probably decades ago, she said, "You're such a dreamer." You're such a
I
dreamer.
love that word.
And she almost kind of like, you're so cute. You're such a dreamer. And she said, and the amazing thing about having a dream or having something that you want to go after, like you said before, she said, it belongs to you.
Yeah.
She said, and don't get dismayed by anyone who doesn't take stock in your dreams. She said, because you're the only one that has to believe it and pursue it.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And you know, I have my grown men sons, my men children, but I have this beautiful little girl who's 25, and I remember her saying to me, she was like, I mean, that's your dream. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work in there. I don't want to, you know, she had all of these things. And at first it was kind of like, well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I'm doing this for you.
But you understand, that's her thing.
But at the same time, I understood and I respected her feelings because it is my dream. And it makes me happy to be here. If it's not making her happy, then I wouldn't want her to be here looking unhappy, because then that's going to mess up the vibe a little bit, Caitlin. That's what happens. I'm
She's
just
talking
kidding.
to you.
Well, the wonderful thing about it is she's also the best at doing it.
Wow.
So although she doesn't want to do it, if I need her to do it, she can come in, and she does a good Juanita.
I was good at working in corporate America. I just wasn't happy. I remember my best friend would tell this story to people. He has a radio podcast himself. He would say, man, I'd look over and Corey would be looking like he was dying inside.
Oh.
And when you do not do what you're supposed to do in life, you are dying inside. You can make all the money you want. Oh. No money is going to make you happy. If it does, I really question where your moral fiber is. I've worked for places all my life, and I'm telling you, I feel so free. And the money that I've been able to make in my own realm of doing what I'm supposed to do has trumped any job I've ever had. I'm so thankful to be able to go into my spot and do what I do and bring joy to people. It's a gift, and you can't take it for granted. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. That's awesome. That's awesome. That gave me a little chill. That is amazing. Is there anything else that you would share with anyone of our viewers, especially those creatives, that, you know, just any nugget that you could share with them just to keep them encouraged and to continue on in their pursuit?
The one thing that I had that worked really good in my favor, it's the reason why I haven't worked for somebody in years. You have to surround yourself. I know we surround ourselves with yes people and people that tell you what you want to hear. You need to have realistic people around you that'll give it to you straight. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that motivates you to be better.
Absolutely.
I talked about that earlier. Like, everyone that doesn't believe in what you're doing, that should give you fuel to show them that they're wrong.
Absolutely.
How else are you going to prove them wrong? So keep people around you that are, you know, even if it's their opinion, you don't want people that tell you what you want to hear. I've got this saying, you don't want to get on American Idol and find out that you can't sing. That somebody should have said
that's
something.
The wrong place, isn't
Yeah,
it?
somebody should. All these people, no one told you, you get there and they're the ones that have to tell you. So you want to surround yourself with people that can give it to you real. And again, this is an important thing. Your faith is all it takes. Nobody needs to believe in you. What are you worried about? I mean, what if a person is your friend and they tell you everything you want to hear and y'all fall out and now you're trash to them? So if you were basing it off of them, you're still never going to get there because it was based off of them. But if your faith is in what you're doing and you put the work behind it, I have to say that. It ain't just going to happen. You have to put the work behind it. There's nothing you can't achieve. Sounds corny, but it is real.
It is. It is. Hard work does pay off.
It does.
So it does pay off. And keep pushing. Don't be that person that got, what is the story about? The person that got 3 inches away from their goal. And when they stopped,
they didn't even know they were 3
they
inches.
didn't know how close they were. You know, so don't be that person. The perseverance pays off.
Yes.
So keep pushing, y'all. Keep pushing. And we have come to that magical time again, y'all. We are wrapping things up. I cannot believe that we are close to the end of our 2nd season. We have had the pleasure of interviewing so many wonderful entrepreneurs, internationally known entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs. I mean, from one end of the gamut to the other, y'all. And I am so very thankful that they've trusted me to share their story and that they are here at the People's Coffee House, where we are helping you just with little bitty nuggets to get through. So, your solution's out there, guys. So keep on brewing. And until next time, stay perky and keep on brewing up good vibes. And stay right here with us. Peace.